What looked like a perfect love story quietly unraveled behind closed doors, and by the time fans realized something was wrong, the damage was already done. Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu, two of Turkish television's most beloved stars, had captured hearts across the globe with their undeniable chemistry. But somewhere between the red carpets and romantic rumors, something shifted. The smiles became forced. The public appearances grew rare. And then, without warning, everything went silent. For years, fans had watched these two navigate fame, success, and constant speculation about their relationship. They had weathered tabloid storms together, dismissed endless rumors, and maintained a carefully crafted public image. But when the silence came, it felt different. This wasn't just another celebrity couple dodging questions. This was something deeper, something broken. And what makes this story so devastating is that we may never know the full truth. The connection between Barış and Elçin began long before the cameras started rolling on their most famous project together. Both had already carved out successful careers in Turkish entertainment. Elçin Sangu had become a household name through her role in Karalık Aşk, where her charm and talent made her one of the most recognizable faces in Turkey. Barış Arduç had his own trajectory of success, building a reputation as a versatile actor with serious range and undeniable screen presence. When they were cast together, fans immediately sensed something special. Their chemistry was electric from the very first scene. It was the kind of connection that couldn't be faked, the kind that made audiences lean forward and wonder if what they were seeing was just acting or something more real. Social media exploded with fan accounts dedicated to analyzing every glance, every touch, every moment between them. Shipping culture reached fever pitch. Videos analyzing their body language racked up millions of views. And while both stars remained professional, neither fully denied the possibility of something happening behind the scenes. The first real sign that something had shifted came when fans noticed a change in their social media activity. Barış and Elçin had never been the type to flood their feeds with couple photos, but there had always been subtle interactions. A like here. A comment there. Small gestures that kept hope alive for millions of shippers. But slowly, those interactions stopped. Posts that once would have drawn playful responses were met with silence. Photos from events showed them standing just a bit farther apart. The warmth that had once radiated from their public moments together seemed to cool. Online communities dedicated to following their every move began documenting these changes obsessively. Forums filled with concerned speculation. Twitter threads dissected timelines. Instagram detectives zoomed in on who was liking whose photos and when. And while some fans insisted everything was fine, others couldn't shake the feeling that something fundamental had changed. The energy was different. The spark had dimmed. What happened next caught everyone off guard. Reports began surfacing that Barış had been spotted with someone new. The details were murky at first. Paparazzi photos from a distance. Unconfirmed sightings. Whispers from industry insiders. But as more information trickled out, the picture became clearer. Barış appeared to be moving on. And he was doing it publicly. The internet exploded overnight. Fan accounts that had dedicated years to shipping Barış and Elçin went into mourning. Comment sections filled with heartbreak and disbelief. Hashtags trended worldwide as fans demanded answers. How could this happen? When did things end? Was there overlap? Did Elçin know? The questions poured in faster than anyone could answer them. According to sources who claimed to be close to the situation, the breakup had happened months before the public found out. The relationship, which may have been romantic or may have been an intense emotional connection that never fully materialized, had ended quietly. Both parties had agreed to keep things private, to move on with dignity, to protect what they had built professionally. But when Barış was seen with someone new, that silent agreement shattered. The timing felt particularly cruel. Elçin had just wrapped a major project and was dealing with her own professional pressures. She had maintained her dignity throughout years of speculation, never confirming or denying, never feeding the gossip machine. And now, while she remained silent and private, photos of Barış with another woman circulated worldwide. The optics were terrible. Even if the timeline was innocent, even if everything had ended properly before anything new began, the public perception was damaging. Meanwhile, Barış continued living his life in the spotlight. Whether this was confidence or insensitivity became a matter of fierce debate. Some admired his ability to move forward without letting public opinion dictate his choices. Others felt he was being tone-deaf to how his actions affected someone he had once shared such a deep connection with. The truth, as always, probably existed somewhere in the complicated middle ground that celebrities navigate daily. Industry insiders began sharing their perspectives, though always carefully and often anonymously. According to these sources, the pressure of being constantly shipped together had created an impossible situation for both actors. When your professional chemistry becomes public obsession, it's nearly impossible to maintain healthy boundaries. Every friendship becomes romance. Every collaboration becomes evidence. Every denial becomes proof of a cover-up. For Barış and Elçin, that pressure may have destroyed whatever real connection existed between them. The financial implications of their separation also became a talking point. Both Barış and Elçin had benefited enormously from the public's investment in their connection. Brand deals, appearance fees, and social media value had all been enhanced by the shipping culture surrounding them. When that culture collapsed, there were real business consequences. Brands that had wanted them together suddenly pivoted. Projects that had banked on their combined star power were reconsidered. The economics of celebrity relationships are rarely discussed openly, but they play a significant role in how these situations unfold. What made this breakup particularly devastating for fans was the lack of closure. There was no official statement, no joint announcement, no carefully worded Instagram posts thanking each other and asking for privacy. Just silence from Elçin and visible movement forward from Barış. That asymmetry felt wrong to people who had invested emotionally in their story. It felt like an ending without an epilogue, a book with pages torn out just before the conclusion. As months passed, the narrative continued evolving. Barış's new relationship became more public. Photos emerged of happy moments, vacations, and everyday life. Each new image felt like salt in the wound for fans who had hoped for a different outcome. But more painfully, each new image seemed to underscore Elçin's continued silence. The contrast became a story in itself. One person moving on loudly while another grieved privately. The broader conversation around this situation touched on something larger than just two celebrities and their complicated relationship. It highlighted the toxicity of shipping culture when it crosses certain lines. The way fans can create entire narratives and then feel betrayed when reality doesn't match their fantasy. The impossible position celebrities find themselves in when they try to maintain privacy while living public lives. And the gendered nature of how breakups are perceived, with women often bearing the emotional burden publicly while men are allowed to simply move on. There were also discussions about the Turkish entertainment industry specifically and how it handles celebrity relationships. The intense media scrutiny. The lack of boundaries between public and private life. The way speculation is treated as news and rumors become headlines. For international fans watching this unfold, it provided insight into a celebrity culture that operates under different rules than Hollywood, but faces many of the same challenges. As time continued passing, some fans began accepting that whatever Barış and Elçin had shared was truly over. The hope for reconciliation faded. The shipping accounts slowly went quiet or shifted focus to other pairings. The obsessive analysis of their every move decreased. Life, as it always does, moved on. But for those who had been deeply invested, the lack of closure remained a wound that never quite healed. Both actors continued building successful careers independently. Barış took on challenging roles that showcased his range. Elçin expanded into producing and explored opportunities behind the camera. On paper, both were thriving. But fans who had followed their journey couldn't help wondering what might have been if the pressure had been different, if the speculation had been less intense, if they had been allowed to figure out their connection without millions of people watching and waiting and demanding answers. The most haunting aspect of this entire story is what remains unknown. Were Barış and Elçin ever actually together romantically, or did fans create a relationship that existed only in their imagination? Did something real end badly, or did the weight of expectation destroy a genuine friendship before it could become anything more? Was there betrayal, or just two people trying to live their lives while managing impossible public pressure? The answers to these questions remain locked behind the silence both actors have maintained. What we do know is that something beautiful was lost. Whether it was a relationship, a friendship, or simply the possibility of either, the connection that had captivated millions disappeared. The chemistry that had seemed so undeniable became a memory. The future that fans had imagined for them diverged into separate paths. And two people who had once shared something special, whatever that something was, now existed in completely different worlds. The lesson in all of this, if there is one, might be about the cost of living life under constant observation. About the price celebrities pay for fame and the way that public investment in their private lives can destroy the very things people claim to love. Barış and Elçin became symbols of a perfect romance for millions of people. But symbols aren't allowed to be complicated. Symbols aren't allowed to change. And when real human beings can't live up to the symbolic roles assigned to them, everyone loses. For fans still processing this silent breakup, the pain comes from not knowing. From questions that will never be answered and explanations that will never come. From investing years of emotional energy into believing two people belong together only to watch them drift apart without understanding why. That kind of closure may never arrive. And perhaps that's the point. Some stories don't get neat endings. Some relationships don't come with explanations. Some silences are louder than any words could ever be. For a connection that once seemed unbreakable, the quiet way it ended speaks to a deeper truth about love, fame, and everything in between. Sometimes the biggest heartbreaks happen without a sound, and sometimes the most painful endings are the ones where nothing is actually said at all.